Start your engines.
6 months ago, 26 drivers set off in pursuit of the IndyCar World Series title. Today, just 2 are still in the race. Nigel Mansell won that first encounter on Australia's Gold Coast, and since then, the greatest rookie in IndyCar history has racked up another 3 victories, as well as 5 podium positions. 7 days ago in mid-Ohio, he could have become IndyCar's first ever freshman champion. But a first-lap collision ultimately cost Nigel his chance of victory. His nearest rival needed little invitation to take advantage. Emerson Fittipaldi is quite simply a legend. A world champion in both Formula One and IndyCar, the 46-year-old Brazilian has lost none of his competitive edge down the years. And following that victory in Ohio, his third of the season, Fittipaldi moved to within 14 points of Mansell in the championship. With just 2 races left, today's contest gives Emo a real chance of closing the gap. The Bosch Grand Prix comes from Nazerath, Pennsylvania, and the 1-mile oval is Fittipaldi's favourite course. He's won twice here in the last 4 years. If that wasn't enough for Nigel to worry about, torrential rain washed out the entire pre-race practice day. That meant pole was decided according to championship positions, so no bonus point for Nigel, but first place on the grid. Alongside him, who else? Emerson Fittipaldi. Race day and more problems for Nigel. A water leak in the race car meant a first practice session in the spare vehicle. Typically, Nigel posted the fastest time, but the question remained, could he possibly have mastered one of the tightest tracks in IndyCar after just 1 hour's practice?
Well, welcome to Nazerath. As you saw yesterday, it was completely washed out, so we had no qualifying. And just to reiterate, qualifying now adds the championship points system, so I'm pleased to say by leading the point system, I start on pole with Emerson on second. We've had a very, very hectic morning this morning. We've had 2 practice sessions, and if you've been following on camera what's been going on, it's been a bit like musical chairs this morning. We've been out of the race car, in the T car, in the T car again, out of the T car, in the race car, and vice versa. It's been a bit of a headache. Everything's being condensed into one day. I mean, it just makes for a lot of excitement. We did have a major problem with the race car this morning. We had a bolt fall out one of the water plug lines, and consequently it blew the water line off, and I was very lucky going on there in turn 2 and 3 because I saw it in my mirrors, and also I saw the yellow lights come on very quickly, and I slowed right down. Unfortunately, Jim McGee shouted me on the radio as well, slow down, slow down. But that gave us our difficulties and our excitement for this morning. We're competitive, we're no quicker than the Penske's. I'm just pleased that it looks like we're almost as quick, and we've just got to wait and see what kind of race we have. But I just hope we have a quiet one after what we've had this morning, because we probably had our worst warm-up session with, as I said, musical chairs. But it makes for an exciting day, and stay with us because the excitement's just beginning.
Indeed it is, and not just for this year. All the pre-race talk has centred around 2 momentous announcements. First, the return of Michael Andretti to IndyCar after just 1 season in Formula One. He'll be driving for the Ganassi team next year, renewing his rivalry with Father Mario. But the biggest news of all was Nigel Mansell's new 2-year contract with Newman Haas.
It's all come out right, and I'm just delighted to say that we've done the deal. And, you know, Carl's got a big IOU.
So, everything rosy in the Newman Haas camp. Over at Penske, Emerson Fittipaldi's reaction to the news was reported to be of the 4-letter variety. What will he be saying after today's crunch race? Don't forget our competition coming up later, but now on with the action. Our commentary teams, Alvaro Martin and Guy Hobbs, but first of all, Paul Page with Derek Daly.
Now here we go. And the green comes out this time. As Nigel Mansell drops back a bit, Tracy comes sweeping around, and the Penske cars lead this race going into the first corner. Now moving to the backstretch. Mansell sits back in third.
Tracy was the one that got a superb jump to go outside Nigel Mansell, but look at this.
Mansell looking for any room he can on Tracy, and he's fighting with him. That's a bit of a surprise. When I saw him drop back early, certainly no direct intent of Mansell, I thought, well, maybe he's just going to play it cozy here on the first lap. But then he comes up to challenge Tracy, and now Mansell comes up to challenge Mansell.
Things happen so fast here at Nazerath. Lap after lap goes by in just about 20 seconds. But the Penske cars, as we've seen earlier this year, now commanding even at this early stage. But Mansell is giving Mansell all the trouble he needs.
Light is here for third as Mansell comes up, darts to the inside. Here's the braking area that Derek mentioned. And Mansell moves into third place as Mansell drops backwards. Still in a good position to maintain the championship. This will have to be for Mansell a very tactical battle here today.
Look at Tracy around the outside of Emerson.
Paul Tracy makes his move to the outside, tries to use traffic, but it may not work for him this time. That's Mashusta just ahead. It does work for Tracy. He sweeps well around Fittipaldi, and he picks up the lead of the race. But at the same time, moving in is Mansell as he closes in on Fittipaldi.
Well, he obviously thinks he can be more help to Emerson by getting clear of this traffic at the moment. An interesting move by Tracy.
So the lead changes as Fittipaldi gives way to Paul Tracy. And now Fittipaldi has Raul Boisel just behind him and ready to challenge. So the lead changes here in the early going with 11 laps complete.
One of Mansell's strongest points, and we saw it on oval track races earlier this year. He is superb in traffic.
Whoa.
Look at this. Mashusta gets a shake of the fist from Mansell. Mansell was going to go outside, realized he couldn't do it, inside couldn't do it.
So as the field strings out now with 26 laps already complete, 26 miles of the 200-mile scheduled distance. We have been green flag all the way. We started with Fittipaldi jumping to the lead, and look at Mansell. Mansell and Mansell coming to battle once again. And again, Mansell is able to hold the position. But Mansell is very definitely there and very eager. Remember that Mansell sits third in the points right now and wants to protect that position as well. Paul Tracy is still our leader here in Nazerath. Now they swing, fighting traffic again as Fittipaldi moves up to the outside of Johansson, and Mansell loses ground.
Bad run in traffic there for Mansell. He was all over Emerson, and suddenly within one lap, we said it earlier, it happened so fast here, suddenly he loses almost 2 seconds.
Continuing under green flag racing, 41 laps complete. Tracy still the leader.
And so the race within the race continues. Fittipaldi and Mansell now one-on-one, mano-a-mano at this point with only 8 cars on the lead lap, and the whirlwind continues.
Very much so, and they're already beginning to lap, like I say, all the field. Only, I believe, 8 still on the main lap. We've had some guys pit. Scott Brayton has pitted, Danny Sullivan has pitted, and as you also heard, Mauricio Guzman has pitted to make some adjustments to the car. Eddie Cheever, of course, in the King Motorsports car, which is very good on the ovals. We know that with Roberto Guerrero in it. It wasn't doing so well on the street and road courses. He's got a very good car, and he is now running in 8th place. Stephanie Johansson has managed to get his way up to 9th, and there's a great battle going on for 2nd place between Emerson Fittipaldi and Nigel Mansell. You saw earlier, Nigel lost quite a bit of ground in the traffic on that last maneuver. He gambled, he went left, and now he went right, and now it looks like he's going to be able to put the move on Emerson as they go into the turn 2.
Indeed, not only that, they're both coming up on Paul Tracy, so both Marlboro Penske cars are slowing down, relatively speaking, to Nigel Mansell, who's charging for the lead, and this is very bad news for the Penske team.
It's going to be a case of which guy is going to get the best fuel economy too, as far as the Lola is concerned, the Ford is concerned, and the Chevrolet V8 is concerned, and that's where a lot of this race could be either won or lost, is right on pit lane.
And remember, Guy, in Mid-Ohio last week, trying to make up ground, Mansell went so quickly he had to stop at the last minute to get some more fuel. Let's rejoin Paul Page and Derek Daly with this battle going on between Mansell and Fittipaldi.
At the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix, Nigel Mansell was able to mount a challenge on Emerson Fittipaldi and get around into second. Now he is beginning to challenge Paul Tracy. So here is a fight for the lead, and look at him dial inside of Tracy. The crowd comes to their feet and begins to cheer as Mansell comes into the lead.
What a move by Mansell. He is so decisive. Now he's outside of Mario Andretti, his
around
teammate.
Mario. He just completely blows an identical car right into the weeds.
Mario obviously is not happy with that car. We hear it is loose. That is the driver's nightmare here. He is loose. But Mansell's car is exceptional at this stage of the race. He did set fastest lap of the race at a 20.8. But the two Penske cars are in trouble after 48 laps.
Here was Mansell challenging Fittipaldi.
Tries to go outside, gets a great run. Now look, from IndyCar down the inside under braking, and Fittipaldi has nothing to do except allow him to go by. Within 2 laps, he attacked Paul Tracy, which you see right here. Same favorite position down the inside under braking. Wasn't able to pull it off, but boy, did he get a run. Watch this here. Now what's the weaving? Look, look, look. Weaves trying to make sure he lines the car up for turn 1.
First half to the race. One final obstacle to overcome, and with that pit stop successfully negotiated, the IndyCar title is there for the taking.
And he has everybody in a firm headlock at the moment, trying to get a submission. Mansell is being brutal here on his competitors. He is superb and in total control.
Up inside Johansson, but still, look at how careful he's been playing it. None of that solid attack into the field now. Now he senses that victory just down the road, and more important, that championship. Run number 5 still on the charge. 180 laps complete. 20 miles to a potential championship, a historic championship. Now he's taken on some care. Very careful with Johansson just ahead. He has a strong lead over Scott Goodyear, and he recognizes the key is not the race here, though he would certainly like to win it. The key is Fittipaldi, and Fittipaldi is not in position to continue to challenge for the championship.
And at Mid-Ohio, he almost dropped the ball with the incident with Paul Tracy at the first turn. In fact, he had very strong and severe words against Tracy, blaming him for that incident on that first corner. However, all is forgotten this weekend, and now we watch a display of pure aggression and raw speed and talent.
Paul Tracy, will he have to make another pit stop? I assume he would. Gary Gerald, will he?
That's what I thought. Just checked with 2 members of the crew, and they say no, that they've got the mixture leaned down to the point where they can make it to the checkered flag without making that stop. So what does that do to Emerson Fittipaldi's title chances?
Well, I presume, Gary, that what that means is that they will want Tracy to give way to Fittipaldi and at least let him into 4th, so he'll be in a key position if something happens to Gordon. What do you think?
Well, I would think that certainly would make an awful lot of sense. Maybe we can get a confirmation here.
What about Fittipaldi? Jan Beekes, can you give us more?
Well, they know that Paul Tracy is going to come in, so in other words, if you check with the other Penske team, they're keeping an eye. So I guess Paul Tracy will be coming in. They know that will give him 4th position. They also know that's not enough for Emerson. They say,
but
we cannot catch him, Paul, is what they say. Without a yellow, we can't go any further. They're already on full rich.
And what Gary's saying is that Tracy doesn't have to come in, so he will have to give way.
Well, according to they're right next to you, that I can see Gary from here. He is checking with Tracy's team. They say, no, we don't have to stop. You check with Emerson's, they say, yes, Tracy is going to stop. So it's anybody's guess.
So the Penske team, they're still in competition with one another. Mansell in competition with no one. He continues to lead. He still has his hand very firmly on the championship, and in 14 miles, he just could be the IndyCar champion. Scott Goodyear is the only one that can contest him for the win of the race. This is the man that can make the difference in the championship. Number 4, Emerson Fittipaldi. He rides in 5th place right now. His teammate, Paul Tracy, is just ahead of him. It is what he does. Now they have flipped position. Now they flipped.
On the racetrack, yes, you're right. He's actually behind him on the racetrack. But we now know that even if Tracy helps Emerson, that's not good enough. He needs a lot of help from a Mansell or a Goodyear or a Gordon. He needs either of those 3 cars to have some sort of problem or difficulty.
And with now just 8 laps to go, 8 miles, Fittipaldi does not appear to have any chance whatsoever.
And Emerson went into this race with almost a tag team because his Penske teammate Paul Tracy was going to be able to support him, but the cars were not good enough. He needs a lot more than Paul Tracy's help now if he is even to have a breath of fresh air to try and grasp a hold of this championship.
The race is Mansell, followed by Goodyear. They're the only two on the same lap. Then Gordon, then Tracy, then Fittipaldi. Rahal is 6. 7 is Johansson, followed by Lyondike, Bosell, and Cheever. Teo Fabi runs in 11th place, followed by Mark Smith, Mario Andretti, David Kudrave, and Scott Brayton in 15th. Go back to the front of the field, take a look at Nigel Mansell, as now he certainly can calculate that he is very, very close. In fact, just a few minutes away from grasping his dream of this year, an IndyCar championship. And what a remarkable accomplishment it is, as it has been throughout the year. He comes to the first race at Australia, sits on the pole, takes the win. Newman Haas Racing. There's Carl. Pretty calm, only one end of the cigar bitten.
Doesn't take Mansell very long to learn these racetracks. Even when he came here for a test session, in less than a day, he was virtually down to the track record. High-speed corners and entering high-speed corners, driving down to the apex, is always where Mansell has been extremely fast. That's the benefit you see him have here now, as well as a very good car.
He adapts so quickly on these circuits, especially on the ovals. He seems to love the high speed and the traffic. Now 197 laps complete.
It all unfolds now for Mansell. You just got to be very, very careful, but there may be some position changes going on right behind Mansell.
You take a look just back behind Mansell. Paul Tracy and Robbie Gordon are there as they continue to battle their position out. There's Mansell as he moves around. He should see a white flag next time around. A white flag not only on this race, but now less than a mile to the IndyCar championship. Paul Tracy got around Gordon, and Tracy now sits in third, the position that Fittipaldi wishes he had.
There's the traffic jam there that includes Tracy, but Emerson is the key. He cannot get close enough to Gordon to make a difference to have Tracy help him.
The final lap now being run at Nazerath, and there is the checkered flag for Nigel Mansell. The Kmart Haviland Lola takes the win, and in doing so, takes the IndyCar championship. A piece of history in the making here. Paul Tracy pulls alongside, gives a wave of congratulations to Mansell. Paul Newman accepting the congratulations from his team members. Reaches up to say thank you to Carl Haas for yet another great and successful championship season, this time with their new rookie. He can now, without any question, take any rookie stripes that may be around anywhere off, because he goes from rookie to champion. Nigel Mansell. And already they've got the hats out, Gary.
Here's Paul Newman down here exchanging greetings with Carl Haas. Paul, can we get a quick word as we congratulate you and this team on an IndyCar championship?
It's an extraordinary year. My hat's off to him.
Can you believe how this guy adapted to the ovals?
Really extraordinary. Awesome.
And I guess the great thing is you've got him back for a couple more seasons.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, we're going to have some awful good racing next year.
We look forward to it. Congratulations. All right.
Nigel Mansell rolls into the winner's circle, taking the race in the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix and taking the championship as they wave the Union Jack here in Nazerath.
Mansell putting enough places and points between himself and Fittipaldi to take the title. And as the Englishman stepped out of his car, everyone wanted to offer his congratulations to the new champion. A 25-point gap meant Mansell couldn't be caught. The only man to win the IndyCar title in his rookie season. The only man to win Formula One and IndyCar titles back-to-back. The only man to hold both championships at the same time.
Nigel Mansell has been going around hugging every member of the team and the crew that he can find. Nigel, I don't know when you decided that you were going to make the commitment to go IndyCar racing, if you seriously entertained thoughts that you might be able to win a championship in your rookie year. Did you?
Not really, no.
But I mean, I dedicate this championship to the Newman Haas team, especially all the boys, because they've just done a fantastic job, and it's a very emotional moment for me.
You talked, when you announced the signing of a new contract yesterday, about how important one of your former car owners, Colin Chapman, had been in your life, and you said that Carl Haas has taken a place right alongside now as such a person of such importance.
You can see the friendship in the team. I mean, we're one big family. I mean, Carl's here now.
Had there been a yellow flag, and amazingly there was not, would that have made any difference? Could you have caught Nigel?
No, I don't think so. I think just the way both cars were balanced was not as quick as Nigel's car. Nigel was driving beautiful race, and he was very quick, and I don't think there was any way to catch. You have to catch him next year.
Were you surprised, Emerson, at how quickly he was able to adapt and win, I guess, the last 5 oval races this year?
I'm very surprised, Gary, because coming from Formula One, it's very tough to drive on a short oval, and he was amazing quick on the oval. I mean, that's I would like to congratulate him. He did a beautiful job.
You have done a lot of racing series. How does this feel as compared to Formula One?
Just feels equally as good, and probably because it's a back-to-back championship and never been done before, it probably feels even that bit better. And it's just been a wonderful year, super team, and hello to everybody.
Last week, I know there was frustration in Mid-Ohio, and you worked so hard to get 1 point. And as it turns out now, that may have been the pivotal point that allowed you to clinch today a race before the season is over.
Yeah, I mean, I drove my heart out at Mid-Ohio, and that's a great thing with the regulations.
Here comes Paul Newman now. I think you get the idea of how much it means to this team. And keep in mind, a new contract signed yesterday. Nigel, we look forward to seeing you in an IndyCar again.